What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Inkslasher, and welcome to another episode of Top 10 Emblems, the show where we look at the top 10 customized emblems submitted by you guys in Call of Duty, and I try to judge which one I believe is the best. Now, of course, as I do this, if you disagree with the order, if one of them is your favorite, feel free to let me know down in the comments. However, if you are good at creating emblems or even paint jobs, feel free to submit them for a future episode, because we don't just do emblems of this series, we also do paint jobs. Now, you ask how to submit them. The way to do so is send a high resolution screenshot to my Twitter. My Twitter link is down in the description, or you can send it to @Inkslasher. Now, it's important that it is a high resolution screenshot. Now, the one thing I have to say before we get into the video is I just wanted to thank you guys, because in the last Top 10 Emblems episode, I asked you guys if you wanted to see the series continue. All you had to do was hit that like button and show me that you enjoy this series, and you guys did that, and seriously, thank you so much. So, same goes for this video. If you enjoy this series, you want to see it continue, as always, the more likes these videos get, it shows me that you actually enjoy this series, and I'm going to keep creating these videos. So, if you enjoy the top 10 emblems, if you enjoy the top 10 paint jobs, the way to show me is simply hitting that like button. Now, as always with these games, as the game is released and people get used to the emblem editor, the paint job editor, people get better and better at creating these things. So I truly believe that this week, the second episode of the top 10 emblems is probably that much better than the first episode, but you can be the judge of that. So without further ado, let's hop into it and start episode 2 of the top 10 emblems. So coming in at number 10, we have one by TheMadReview on YouTube, and I think this is a perfect example of one that really anyone could make. It's not too difficult, but the effort is there, and that's what makes it really look good. So obviously this is a Rick and Morty emblem. If you don't know who Rick and Morty is, you really got to watch that show, man. It's a great show. But as far as this one goes, it's a great use of shadow. As you can see, the outline of Rick and Morty here is just created with shadows, and even doing so by removing shadows in some areas, for example, in Rick's face, almost make the shadows look 3D, and I think that's incredibly well done. But I think this is a perfect example of an emblem that looks incredible, but isn't impossible to make. I think if anyone put the time and effort in to make this one, they could really do something similar, maybe not quite as good, but very similar. So I think this is a perfect example of an emblem that looks incredible, but isn't impossible to make. Up next at number 9, we have one by SJ, and this one is obviously Goku from Dragon Ball Z, and the interesting thing about this one is it's completely opposite of the one at number 10. The one at number 10 used shadows to emphasize the shape. This one actually uses the highlights in the color of hair, the highlights in certain areas of the face to create the shape of Goku, and of course the hair. Now, personally, the reason why I like this one is because it's different. Most of the Goku or anime emblems that you actually see in Black Ops 4 or any Call of Duty game for that matter are just created like the actual anime, whereas this one uses light in a different way, colors in a different way to really make something different and special, and that's why I like this one. Up next at number 8, we've got one by Mr. Kiltastic on Twitter, and this one is of course the Heath Ledger version of the Joker. There's a lot I like about this one. First of all, I like how it's dark, gritty, kind of like this version of the Joker. On top of that, I like how you can see the hair, the difference between the green hair and the very red lips looks awesome, and all in all, it's just a very well done emblem. I always find it interesting to see all of the different pop culture references brought in through emblems in Call of Duty games, and it just so happens that this year it seems to be a lot of superhero references. Speaking of which, at number 7, we have one by Angry Bulldog Gaming, and of course, this is Deadpool, and this is just insanely well done. The thing that I like more than anything about this emblem is it's not the super realistic live action version of Deadpool that we've been used to in the past couple of years. It is literally the comic book cartoon version of Deadpool, which we actually don't get to see very often. First of all, the shading, shadows, and lighting on Deadpool here are absolutely fantastic, and then the thing that I love is in the background, you can see the white background with the bullet hole up to the top right of Deadpool's Deadpool's head, which I absolutely think just adds so much to this emblem. Honestly, it's incredibly well done. I struggled whether I should put this one higher on the list or not, but honestly, I really do love this one. Next up, we've got one by the real N97, and of course, what we are looking at here is Lord Vonderhaar himself, aka David Vonderhaar from Treyarch. So this is the lead developer behind multiplayer, behind Blackout. He is the guy that makes everything happen behind the Treyarch Call of Duty games, and of course, over the years, he's become a meme, he's been a DJ, he's been a lord, but in this emblem, he's just looking great with some shades on. Now, the thing that I love about this one is that he made a meme out of it, which looks awesome, but at the same time, the shading's still good. It looks like a face, and all in all, it's just incredibly realistic for something that's almost a little bit of a joke. After this, at number 5, we have one by Babyfoot, and this one is, of course, another Dragon Ball Z emblem, but I like what he did here. First of all, using the background of an actual Dragon Ball looks really, really nice. On top of that, using the shadows to create the characters in front of it looks really, really well done. But he actually went another step further and made a second emblem along the same line, using the same shadows, but changing up the background a little. So he still used the circular orange shape of the Dragon Ball, but changed up what it actually looked like. Threw in a palm tree, some clouds, and a background, and honestly, I like this one that much better. It still has the roots of the Dragon Ball in the background, but really just takes it to the next level, and I thought it was really, really incredible what he was able to do with that. After this, moving into the top 4, this is where it gets very hard to position them and decide which one's better than the other. So if you disagree with me, feel free to let me know down in the comments. But coming in at number 4, we have one by Hawaiian Snow 89 on Twitter, aka Goodfella Emblems. Now, Goodfella Emblems has this way of creating emblems with shadows that's just incredibly, incredibly impressive. And this one you're looking at here is, of course, a samurai, once again made by a shadow with a moon in the background. And like I said, it's just really impressive. The samurai looks fantastic, but the scenery, you can see the spears stabbed into the ground in the background there. All of it is just incredibly impressive, and to create it all with shadows like this, I think makes it that much better. First of all, I like that he has a style to his emblems, and I also like how good he is at it. Up next at number 3, we have one by iKing21 on YouTube, and right here we've got Jason Voorhees. Now, the thing is most of these people you are seeing here who have YouTube channels make tutorials on how to make these emblems on their channels, so all of their channels will be linked down in the description, but the one we're looking at here by iKing21 is of Jason Voorhees, and it looks incredibly well done. The mask looks good, knife looks good, even the eyes behind the mask I think he did a really good job on. But the reason why this one is at number 3 is because he created this and then went, you know what, this isn't good enough, so added to it and actually added in Freddy as well, so now you've got the whole Freddy versus Jason thing going. So not only does Jason look very good, but Freddy on top of that looks incredible. You can see the saliva hanging from his teeth, you can see his finger knives in between Jason's knife there, and I think this one is just incredibly well done, and how well he actually put both characters together is just super impressive. Now moving on to number 2, this is where things get absolutely insane. We have one here by DarkElfXoXo on YouTube, and this is of course another Deadpool emblem, but the difference between this one and the one we looked at before is this one is just so realistic. Honestly, it looks like a Google Chrome image of Deadpool's face. The shading on it, lighting, textures are all just incredibly, incredibly well done. Even like the leather texture around the black parts of the eyes looks just so impressive. I really can't say anything else other than that. Honestly, the more I look at this one and the more I talk about it, the more I think that it should be ranked number 1. And you may be wondering, how is it possible that this one could get beat? But here we go. So the first place spot goes to the Russian bull with this lady's face here. Now, it's not a specific lady, it's not an exact person, but wow, is it realistic. Now, if you don't know much about art or drawing or anything like that, there's 2 parts of a human body that are incredibly hard to draw. Number 1, the hands, and number 2, a human eye and face. So first of all, when we look at this one here, the first thing we can see is the eye. The eye looks incredibly well done, the shimmer in it, the color of the actual iris, even around the eye, how it's darker to really give it that depth perception of the eye being deeper set into the face is also impressive. You can even see the cheekbones. When you look at the mouth, it's a really great shaped mouth. On top of that, the shimmer of the lips and the teeth behind it. The realisticness and the actual detail put into this face is so impressive, and that is why I put it at the number 1 spot. But as always, guys, if you disagree with me, if you like one of the other emblems better, feel free to let let me know what your favorite one was down in the comment section below. On top of that, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more like this one, the way to show me is by hitting that like button. And if you like what you see and want to stay up to date on all my videos, the best way to do so is hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications on. Now, as always, if you want to submit your emblems or paint jobs to a future episode, the way to do so is to get a high-resolution screenshot and send it to me over on Twitter. Once again, that link is down in the description, or you can just send it to @Inkslasher on Twitter. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, guys, peace out.